I'm Caroline Walsh, 35 years old. 8 weeks ago, I was lying on my kitchen floor unable to move my right side, my vision blurring, while my 3-year-old son Liam stood next to me holding his favorite stuffed elephant and saying, "Mama sleeping?" over and over. I'd managed to call 911 before I collapsed, and the dispatcher stayed on the line with me, keeping me conscious while I listened to Liam's confused little voice. The paramedics arrived within 7 minutes. As they were loading me into the ambulance, one of them asked about Liam. "Who can we call for your son? He can't stay here alone." "My sister," I managed to slur. "Madison. She lives 15 minutes away." They called her from my phone while hooking me up to monitors and starting in 4. I heard her voice through the speaker, annoyed and sharp. "Caroline, what's going on? I'm literally walking into a spa appointment." The paramedic, a woman named Anna, spoke clearly. "Ma'am, this is Pasadena Fire Department Paramedic Services. Your sister is having a stroke. We're transporting her to Huntington Hospital immediately. She has a 3-year-old son here who needs care. Can you come get him?" There was a pause. Then Madison's voice, cold and dismissive. "A stroke? She's 35. She's probably just having a panic attack or something. She's always been dramatic." "Ma'am, this is a confirmed stroke. Left side facial drooping, right side paralysis, slurred speech. This is life-threatening. Your nephew needs someone now." "Look, I can't. Liam is autistic. He's too much work. I have plans. This isn't my problem. Caroline should have better emergency plans. Call her ex-husband or a babysitter or something." Anna's face went hard. "Ma'am, your sister may be dying." Then she should have thought about that before having a special needs kid she can't manage. "I'm not equipped to handle him. Figure something else out." The line went dead. I was crying, tears running sideways down my face. Anna looked at me with fury and compassion mixed together. "Do you have anyone else?" I shook my head. My ex-husband Derek had abandoned us when Liam was diagnosed at 18 months. Moved to Colorado, sent minimal child support, and saw Liam maybe twice a year. My father lived in Arizona, 4 hours away. I had no one. "Okay," Anna said firmly. "I'm calling a specialized pediatric emergency care service. They handle special needs children. Your son will be safe. You focus on staying with us." Through my blurred vision and scrambled thoughts, one thing became crystal clear. I had been sending my sister $5,000 every single month for 7 years. That's $420,000. I had funded her influencer lifestyle, her apartment, her spa appointments, her shopping addiction, her entire existence. And she just told paramedics that my son was too much work, while I was actively having a stroke. Before I tell you what happened when my father found out, if this story is resonating with you, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. But only if you're genuinely connecting with it. Now let me tell you how I ended up funding my sister's Instagram perfect life while she couldn't be bothered to help when my life was falling apart. Madison and I used to be close. Growing up, she was the fun one, beautiful, charismatic, always the center of attention. I was the responsible one, good grades, steady job, predictable life. Our mother died when I was 19 and Madison was 16, and I sort of became her parent. I helped her through high school, helped her apply to colleges, helped her move into her dorm. After college, Madison decided she wanted to be an influencer. She was beautiful enough, tall, blonde, photogenic. She started an Instagram focused on luxury lifestyle, and quickly gained followers. The problem was that she had no actual income to support the lifestyle she was posting about. That's where I came in. I was 28. Working as a pharmacist making $125,000 a year, married to Derek and pregnant with Liam. Madison called me crying one night. She was about to be evicted from her apartment. She needed $3,000 immediately. I sent it. Then she needed money for content creation. A new camera, a new laptop, photo editing software. I sent it. Then she needed help with her car payment, her credit cards, her lifestyle expenses. Before I knew it, I was sending her $5,000 every month. She told me it was temporary, just until she made it big as an influencer. That was 7 years ago. She never made it big. She had about 47,000 followers. Enough to get occasional free products, not enough to actually make a living. But she kept up the appearance of luxury. Designer clothes that I paid for. Fancy restaurants that I paid for. A 1-bedroom apartment in West Hollywood that I paid for. A leased BMW that I paid for. Her entire life was a performance funded by me while she posted things like, blessed and grateful for this abundant life sparkles hashtag self-made hashtag boss babe hashtag living my truth. When Liam was born, Madison came to the hospital for 20 minutes, took a few photos holding him for Instagram, hashtag anti-life hashtag family first, and left. When Liam was diagnosed with autism at 18 months, she said, "That's rough. Let me know if you need anything," and then never asked about him again. When Derek left us because he couldn't handle raising a disabled kid, Madison's response was a text, "Men are trash. You're better off without him. Want to get drinks this weekend?" I never got drinks with her. I was too busy with therapy appointments, occupational therapy, speech therapy, behavioral therapy. Liam had intensive needs, he was nonverbal, had sensory processing issues, and needed constant supervision. I was a single mother working full-time and managing 15 therapy appointments per week. Madison visited maybe 4 times in 3 years. Each time she'd stay for an hour, get overwhelmed when Liam had a meltdown and leave saying, "I don't know how you do it. He's so intense." But she never once offered to help. Never offered to watch him so I could sleep or shower or just breathe. Never offered to come to an appointment with me. Never asked what she could do. She just kept cashing my checks and posting hashtag self-care content about bubble baths and yoga retreats. The stroke was massive. A blood clot in my middle cerebral artery caused by undiagnosed high blood pressure. Stress induced from being a single working mother to a special needs child while financially supporting my ungrateful sister. I was in surgery for 6 hours while they removed the clot. The specialized care service Anna called found a woman named Teresa who was trained in special needs care. She got to my house within 30 minutes, met Liam and stayed with him for 4 days until my father could drive up from Arizona. The bill for specialized emergency care came to $6,240. Worth every penny to know Liam was safe and cared for by someone who actually understood his needs. Madison didn't call the hospital. Didn't text. Didn't check on Liam. Nothing. On day 3, from my hospital bed with partial paralysis on my right side and my speech still slurred, I opened my banking app with my left hand and canceled the automatic transfer. 7 years of payments, stopped in 30 seconds. My father arrived on day 4. Dad was 67, a retired high school principal, widowed for 16 years, living quietly in Tucson. He'd always been close with both of us, never played favorites. When he walked into my hospital room and saw me, half my face still slightly drooped, struggling to speak clearly, my right arm in a brace, he started crying. "Caroline," he whispered. "My girl. What happened?" I told him everything. About the stroke, about calling Madison, about her refusal to help, about her dismissing Liam as too much work. About Teresa, the specialized care worker who'd been a stranger but had saved us. My father's face went through several emotions: shock, disbelief, rage. "Madison said that? While you were having a stroke?" I nodded, starting to cry. "She said he wasn't her problem, Dad. She said I should have better emergency plans. Like I planned to have a stroke at 35. Where is she now?" "I don't know. She hasn't called." My father pulled out his phone and called her right there. She answered on the 4th ring. "Hey Dad. What's up? What's up?" My father's voice was shaking with suppressed fury. "Your sister had a major stroke 4 days ago. She's in the hospital partially paralyzed. Where are you?" "Oh. Yeah, I heard about that. How is she? How is she?" "Madison, you were called to help with Liam during the emergency. You refused. You told paramedics your nephew was too much work." There was a pause. "Dad, you don't understand. Liam is really difficult. He has meltdowns and special needs. I'm not trained for that. It's not fair to expect me to drop everything. You were at a spa appointment. So, I had plans. Caroline should have backup childcare arranged. This isn't on me." I watched my father's face turn red. "Get to this hospital. Now." "Dad, I'm busy." "Madison Louise Walsh, you get to Huntington Hospital in the next hour or I swear to God I will drive to your apartment and drag you here myself. Now." He hung up. Looked at me. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, I didn't see how she'd become. It's not your fault. I enabled her to. After your mother died, I let you take care of her because you were so good at it. I should have made her grow up. I should have made her responsible. Instead, I let her become this. This person who thinks spa appointments are more important than family emergencies. Madison showed up 2 hours later, dressed like she was going to brunch. Designer sundress, perfect makeup, expensive sunglasses. She walked into my hospital room like she was doing us a favor by showing up. "Hey Caro. Wow, you look rough. How are you feeling?" Before I could answer, my father stood up. "Sit down, Madison. Now." Something in his tone made her actually obey. She sat in the chair by the window looking nervous. "Do you understand what happened to your sister?" Dad asked. "She had a stroke." "I know. It's scary, but she's going to be fine, right?" "She almost died," Dad said flatly. "She was on the floor of her kitchen unable to move while your 3-year-old nephew stood next to her confused and scared. The paramedics called you to help with Liam. You refused. You called your autistic nephew, too much work, and said he wasn't your problem. I was just being honest. You were being selfish." Dad's voice rose. "You were being the most selfish, entitled, ungrateful person I've ever seen. Your sister almost died and you couldn't be inconvenienced for one afternoon. Dad, you don't understand what it's like with Liam. He's not like regular kids. I spent 4 days with him." Dad shouted. "4 days? Your 67-year-old father with a bad hip and no special training figured it out in 4 days. Teresa, the care worker, taught me his routines, his comfort items, his communication methods. It took me 1 evening to learn. You couldn't spare 1 afternoon." Madison's lip trembled. "That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair?" My father pulled out his phone and pulled up something. "Caroline, how much money have you been sending Madison every month?" I looked at Madison. Her face had gone pale. "Dad, that's private." $5,000, I said quietly. "Every month for 7 years." My father's hands were shaking as he did the math on his phone. $420,000. Caroline has sent you $420,000 over the past 7 years. While working full-time, raising a special needs child alone, managing 15 therapy appointments a week. She's been funding your entire lifestyle. Madison's mouth opened and closed. "That was..." Caroline offered. "I didn't force her. You told her it was temporary." Dad's voice cracked. "You said it was just until you made it as an influencer. 7 years later, you're still living off your sister while posting about being #self-made and #blessed. Where do you think that money came from, Madison?" I thought Caroline was doing well financially. She was doing well. Until she started funding your fake luxury lifestyle. She could have had savings. She could have had a better house. She could have had help with Liam. Instead, she was paying for your BMW and your designer purses and your spa appointments while she struggled alone. Tears were running down Madison's face now. "I didn't know it was that hard for her. Because you never asked." I spoke up, my words still slightly slurred but clear enough. "You never once asked how I was managing. You never asked about Liam's appointments. You never offered to help. You just took my money and pretended your life was perfect while mine was falling apart. Caroline, I'm sorry. You told paramedics my son wasn't your problem," I said, and my voice broke. "While I was having a stroke. While I thought I might die and leave Liam alone. You said he was too much work. He's 3 years old, Madison. He's your nephew. And he was too much work for you to handle for 1 afternoon while your sister was dying." Madison was crying hard now. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. "So you did nothing," Dad said coldly. "You chose a spa appointment over your sister's life. You chose your convenience over your nephew's safety. And you know what Caroline did? She hired specialized care from the ambulance while actively having a stroke. She made sure Liam was safe even while she was paralyzed. She's more of a parent while dying than you've ever been while healthy. I know I messed up. You didn't mess up. You showed who you are. And who you are is someone who takes $420,000 from her sister and can't give back 1 afternoon when it matters most." My father stood up and walked to the window, his back to both of us. When he spoke again, his voice was quiet and broken. "Your mother would be ashamed of you." Madison gasped like she'd been slapped. "Dad. She would be. Your mother was the most giving person I ever knew. She would have dropped everything for family. She would have been at this hospital the second she heard. And she would look at what you've become. This selfish, self-absorbed person who values spa appointments over human lives. And she would be heartbroken." "Please don't say that," Madison sobbed. I spent 16 years telling you girls that your mother's legacy was love and family. Caroline lived it. She gave everything to everyone, including you. You spit on it. You spit on your mother's memory, your sister's sacrifices, and your nephew's needs. All for what? Instagram likes? Free makeup samples? A fake lifestyle you can't actually afford. The room was silent except for Madison's crying. The money is stopped, I said quietly. I canceled the transfers. You're on your own now. Madison's head snapped up. What? Caroline, you can't. I can. I did. I almost died, Madison. I'm facing months of physical therapy. I don't know if I'll fully recover. I have a son who needs me and medical bills and therapy costs, and I can't do this anymore. I can't fund your life when you couldn't even help with mine. But my apartment, my car, my... Figure it out, Dad said harshly. Get a real job. Live within your means. Grow up. You're 32 years old and you've never actually supported yourself. It's time. Dad, please. No. I'm done too. I've been sending you $800 a month for emergencies that never seem to end. That stops today. You want to live your luxury lifestyle? Earn it yourself. Actually be the hashtag self-made person you pretend to be online. Madison looked between us, panicked. You're both cutting me off? How am I supposed to live? The way everyone else does, I said. You work. You budget. You live below your means until you can afford better. You stop pretending and start being real. But I'll lose everything. My apartment, my car. Good, Dad said. Maybe losing everything will teach you what actually matters. Because clearly having everything handed to you taught you nothing. Madison left the hospital that night. She didn't say goodbye to me. Didn't ask about my recovery. Didn't ask about Liam. She just left. Over the next week my phone blew up. 67 calls the first day. 82 the second day. 93 the third day. Texts, voicemails, emails. All from Madison. Caroline, please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I was just scared of doing something wrong with Liam. Please don't do this. I'll lose my apartment. The BMW is getting repossessed. Please, I'm begging you. I didn't respond. I was in physical therapy 3 hours a day, relearning to use my right side, working on my speech, trying to regain function. I didn't have energy for Madison's crisis. Dad blocked her number too. She needs to figure this out herself, he told me. I'm not rescuing her anymore. I was in the hospital for 12 days total. When I was released, I went home to find my house transformed. My father had stayed with Liam and he'd gotten the house organized for my recovery. Grab bars in the bathroom. A wheelchair ramp at the door. Liam's schedule and therapy information all printed and posted. Teresa helped me, Dad explained. She's amazing. She gave me a crash course in Liam's needs and routines. She said you've been doing an incredible job with him. Liam ran to me, well, his version of running, which was more of an enthusiastic shuffle, and pressed his elephant into my lap. Mama home, he said clearly. 2 words. He'd never said 2 words together before. I started crying. Dad started crying. Even Teresa, who'd stopped by to check on us, was wiping her eyes. He missed you so much, Dad said. Every night he'd point to your room and say, Mama. I'd tell him you were getting better and coming home soon. And look at him, he said a 2-word phrase. Caroline, that's huge. It was huge. We'd been working on 2-word combinations for 6 months with no success. Trauma can sometimes trigger breakthroughs, Teresa said gently. He was scared, but he was also motivated. He wanted his mama. That motivation helped him find the words. I held Liam while he clutched his elephant and I realized something. This was my family. This little boy who needed me. This father who'd dropped everything to help. This kind stranger who'd cared for my son like he was her own. This was what family actually looked like. Not a sister who took money and gave nothing. Not an ex-husband who abandoned us. Not people who were there in name only. Real family shows up. Real family learns. Real family tries. 3 weeks after my stroke, I was doing outpatient physical therapy. My speech was almost back to normal. My right side was improving daily. I could walk without assistance, though I still got tired easily. Dad had stayed in California, renting a month-to-month apartment nearby so he could help with Liam. I should have been here all along, he kept saying. I should have known how hard this was for you. You're here now, I told him. That's what matters. One afternoon there was a knock on my door. I looked through the peephole and saw Madison standing there. She looked terrible. No makeup, hair in a messy ponytail, wearing jeans and a t-shirt instead of designer clothes. I almost didn't answer, but Dad was there and he nodded. Let her in. Let's hear what she has to say. I opened the door. Madison looked at me and started crying immediately. Caroline. God, you look so much better. I've been so worried. No, you haven't, I said flatly. You've been worried about your apartment and your car. Not about me. That's not true. I've been terrified. When Dad told me how serious the stroke was, how close you came to dying. She broke down sobbing. I can't stop thinking about it. I almost lost you. Liam almost lost you. And I wasn't there. I chose a spa appointment over being there when you needed me. Yeah. You did. I know sorry isn't enough. I know I can't undo what I did. But I need you to know, I'm getting help. I'm in therapy. I'm working on understanding why I became so selfish, why I couldn't see past my own life to see how much you were struggling. Okay, I said neutrally. I got a job. A real job. I'm managing social media for a small business. It pays $48,000 a year. I moved into a studio apartment in Glendale that I can actually afford. I returned the BMW and got a used Honda. I'm selling all the designer stuff I bought with your money. Good for you. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be the sister you deserved all along. The aunt Liam deserves. I know I can't make up for 7 years of taking advantage of you. I know I can't take back what I said about Liam. But I want to try. If you'll let me. I looked at my father. He shrugged. Your call, Caroline. I looked at Madison, really looked at her. She looked different. Smaller somehow. Humbled. Like she'd been broken down and was trying to rebuild into something better. You hurt me, I said quietly. Not just that day but for years. You took my money and gave me nothing. You treated Liam like he was a burden instead of a blessing. You made me feel like I was doing it all alone because I was doing it all alone. You weren't there. I know. And the worst part? I kept giving. I kept sending money because I thought that's what love was. I thought if I just gave enough, you'd eventually care about me the way I cared about you. But you never did. I did care. I just showed it terribly. I showed it by taking and taking because it was easier than actually being present. Why? I asked. Why couldn't you just be there for me? Madison sat down heavily on my couch. Because being there meant acknowledging how hard your life was. And if I acknowledged that, I'd have to acknowledge that I was part of what made it hard. I'd have to face that I was taking money you needed for Liam's therapies. That I was taking money you could have used to make your life easier. It was easier to pretend everything was fine, that you were doing great, that my taking wasn't hurting you. It was hurting me. Every month. Every time I had to choose between Liam's needs and sending you money, I chose you. Every time. I know. God, Caroline, I know. And I hate myself for it. Dad spoke up quietly. Hating yourself doesn't help, Caroline. Changed behavior helps, Caroline. You're right. Madison wiped her eyes. I want to help with Liam. Actually help. I want to learn his routines, his needs, his communication methods. I want to be an aunt he can count on. But I understand if you don't trust me. I understand if you never want to see me again. I looked at Liam, who was playing with his blocks across the room, completely oblivious to the adult drama. He deserved an aunt who loved him. He deserved family. Here's what's going to happen, I said slowly. You're going to come to one of Liam's therapy sessions with me. You're going to learn what autism actually means, what his needs are, how to support him. You're going to see what my daily life actually looks like. Hey, yes. I'll do that. Then you're going to start coming over once a week. For an hour. You're going to spend time with Liam while I supervise. You're going to learn how to be with him, how to help him, how to be actually useful. I can do that. And if you flake, if you cancel, if you show up late, if you act like it's too much work, we're done. Forever. I will block you from my life completely and you will never see Liam again. One chance, Madison. That's all you get. I won't flake. I promise. Promises are worthless. Show me. Show up. Do the work. Be the person you should have been all along. That was 5 weeks ago. Since then, Madison has shown up every single week. She's been to 3 of Liam's therapy sessions. She's learned his schedule, his comfort items, his triggers. She's getting better at being with him. Last week, she watched him for 2 hours while I went to a doctor's appointment. When I came home, they were playing together. She'd learned one of his games and he was actually engaged with her. It was the first time I'd seen them connect. "He's amazing," she said when I walked in. "I can't believe I missed 3 years of getting to know him." "You can't get those years back," I said. "But you can be here now." "I want to be. I really do." My recovery is ongoing. I've regained about 85% function in my right side. My speech is back to normal. I'm working reduced hours at the pharmacy, and Dad has decided to move to California permanently to help with Liam. "I should have been here years ago," he keeps saying. "I should have seen how much you were carrying alone. You're here now. That's what counts." The $5,000 I'm no longer sending to Madison goes to Liam's therapy fund and my medical bills. I'm saving for the first time in 7 years. I bought Liam new sensory toys. I hired Teresa as a regular respite care provider so I can have breaks. I'm building an actual support system instead of just being a support system for everyone else. Madison's transformation hasn't been perfect. There have been moments where I see the old entitlement creeping back. A comment about missing her old life, a wistful look at designer stores. But she catches herself now. She apologizes. She's trying. Last week she posted on Instagram for the first time in months. No designer clothes, no luxury lifestyle. Just a simple photo of her and Liam playing blocks with a caption that read, "3 years late, but I'm finally learning what it means to be Auntie M to this incredible kid." Autism isn't scary or too much work. It's just different. And different is beautiful. Thank you to my sister for giving me a chance I didn't deserve. #Autistic, #AntLife, #doing better. The post got about 200 likes. A fraction of what her luxury content used to get. But she seemed genuinely happy about it. "I have real followers now," she told me. "People who actually care about substance, not just superficial stuff." "Good," I said. "Real is better than fake." Always was. I just couldn't see it. Today, 10 weeks after my stroke, I'm sitting in my backyard watching Dad push Liam on the swing. Liam is laughing, his beautiful, pure laugh that comes out when he's truly happy. Madison is here too, helping Dad with snacks and drinks, learning how to be useful. It's not the family I thought I'd have. It's smaller. It's been broken and rebuilt. It's imperfect. But it's real. People show up. People try. People learn. My father pulled me aside yesterday and said something I'll never forget. "Your mother used to say that real family isn't about perfection. It's about showing up when it's hard." Madison finally learned that lesson. It cost her everything she thought mattered to learn it. But she learned. "Do you think she'll stick with it?" I asked. "I think she's scared enough of losing you again that she'll try. And trying is all we can ask." She's right. Madison will never get back those 7 years. She'll never erase what she said about Liam. She'll never undo the pain she caused. But she's here now. Learning. Trying. Showing up. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that has to be enough. Here's what I've learned through all of this. You can give everything to people who give nothing back, but eventually your body will force you to stop. Mine forced me to stop by literally shutting down. The stroke was my body saying, enough. Cutting off toxic family isn't always permanent if they're willing to change. But the key is willing. Madison had to lose everything to become willing. Some people never get there. I spent $420,000 trying to support my sister while she couldn't support me for one afternoon. That math didn't work. That relationship didn't work. Now I spend that money on my son, my recovery, and my life. And Madison spends her time learning to be an actual family member instead of just a family name. It's a better equation. Drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. And if you've been the person everyone takes from but no one shows up for, know this. It's not selfish to stop giving to people who only take. It's survival. Sometimes people need to lose you to learn your worth. Sometimes they learn. Sometimes they don't. Either way, you deserve people who show up when it's hard, not just when it's convenient. My sister finally learned that lesson. It almost cost her everything. But she learned.